The prospect pool overviews are going to continue on today with the Colorado Avalanche, who won the Stanley Cup about 3 years ago now at this point, which is, by the way, just crazy. Now, you see, typically when you win a Stanley Cup, your prospect pool is not very good. And I'm going to be blunt, it is not very good, even though the Avalanche have not won a Stanley Cup for 3 years. Their best prospect is a player who they just acquired this past offseason from the Blue Jackets, and that is Gavin Brindley, as I messed up my screen once again. Brindley, obviously born in Estero, Florida. He's 5'9", 168 pounds. He's a right wing / left wing, so that's pretty convenient. He was drafted 34th overall in 2023. He played 52 games this past year with the Cleveland Monsters. In his first year in the AHL, had 17 points. Not terrible. Did play a game with Columbus up with the big club. He's undersized. That's the biggest thing that I see there with Brindley, which is a little bit of a concern. He's not undersized in a sense we're like, oh, he could still play in the NHL. He's pretty damn undersized. He is a short kid, 5'9", which is kind of wild. However, he's still 20 years old. He does have upside to possibly play a big role for the Avalanche at some point. Could be a decent bottom six forward. But apart from that, that's really the potential that Brindley has. I'm going to be blunt with you. I don't really think he's going to be much more than that. And that's your best prospect. Yeah, it's a rough prospect pool. This is going to be a rough and hard video to make. Not in a sense like, you got what I mean, but like, it's going to be a video where it's going to be a lot of guys who have been picked in like the 6th or 7th or rounds that we don't even know about. So, yeah, Gavin Brindley, their best prospect by a mile. What's kind of wild is that there were 7 players from the 2024 NHL draft who played games this year in the NHL. 6 of them were first rounders. The other one was Nikita Prishchepov, who was a 7th round pick, picked 217th overall in 2024. He's from Orenburg, Russia, 6'1", 194 pounds. He can play center and left wing, and I'm going to be blunt, the only reason why he played NHL games was because the Avalanche were so injury depleted. It was not funny at all. They were so depleted. He did spend time, though, with the Colorado Eagles, had 23 points in 51 games played, which is a very good year. It's not like he's a bad player. He had a very good year in the AHL for a first-time guy, like 20 years old. He is an overager, so you do want to keep that in mind. He is a little bit older than some of the other players in this class. Could be a decent depth player next year. He could fit in on a fourth-line spot. I would not be shocked to the slightest. Again, this guy has a couple of years of experience, and the fact that, again, he played NHL games this year, even if it was because the Avalanche were just so injury depleted, it does mean something. So Prishchepov, I think, is a prospect that is very underrated by all accounts. But again, if your second or third, even argued as your 4th best prospect, is a 4th liner, that is not great for your pool. But again, I'm sure the Avalanche do not care. They want to win a Stanley Cup, not have the best prospect pool in the league. Up next is Max Curran. He is a center from Praha, Czechia. He is 6'3", 187 pounds. He can also play left wing. I think centers can play wing. It's not that big of a deal. He was drafted 161st overall in 2024, so he was a 5th round pick in last year's draft. In his second season with Tri-City, he played 65 games, had 74 points. That's respectable. 22 goals, good 20-goal season there. Took a step in the right direction. He is going back for a 3rd year in the WHL, so we will not see Curran in Colorado with the Eagles or the Avalanche whatsoever. However, he does have some upside. Good center. He has some decent size to him, which really could propel him into the NHL. Again, he has some good offense there in Tri-City. You're going to want to see how he does with a year in with the Eagles and the AHL. But again, he's not a bad player for a 5th round pick. Could be like a 4th liner upside. I feel like a lot of these guys are 4th liner upside in my opinion. But I guess you could take it with what you will. Curran may not see the NHL, but is one of the better prospects in Colorado's pool for sure. Now, this guy could certainly make the NHL, and honestly, he may not be the best prospect in the pool, but he might have the most potential of any player in this pool. Mikhail Gulyayev is a defenseman from Novosibirsk, Russia. He's a left shot defenseman, 5'11", 183 pounds. He was a first overall pick in 2023, one of the only first round picks that Colorado has made. He played 67 games this past year with Avangard Omsk in the KHL. Had 15 points as a defenseman, put up good numbers in the playoffs as well. This is a guy who is more defensive, has really good speed as well. I've noticed that a lot. He's going to be more of a defensive defenseman for you who may score like 9 or 10 goals a season. Not going to score that often for you in terms of just the depth piece. But Gulyayev, I think, actually does have some upside to make it to the NHL. It's just a matter of when exactly that's going to happen. So there's plenty of upside there. And then you look at this, obviously he was involved in the Alex Newhook trade, and even more than that, the Ben Sherratt trade. So his pick has been kind of passed around a little bit, but Colorado ended up taking him. I think he's going to be a very good pick. I think he's one of the few guys who really does have NHL upside here, besides Brindley and Pristupov, and then the goalie we're going to get into here. But who knows? We shall see. Gulyayev has some upside, and KHL playing with those old guys in the second best league in the world always helps for a 20-year-old in his potential. Francesco Del Else, I believe I'm saying that right, gets the nod here, was a third-round pick in this past year's draft. He spent this past year in UMass Amherst and played 40 games, had 24 points. Again, he's 6'1", 181 pounds. He is a left shot defenseman. This guy has some decent numbers from what I can tell. He's an overager. You got to keep that in mind. He's a little bit older than some of the other players in this class. He is going back to UMass for another season, but has put up some decent years the last couple of seasons in the BCHL, and then obviously here in the Hockey East. So Del Else could have some upside there. I mean, 24 points in 40 games played is actually pretty solid for a defenseman, especially of a guy like him. So there's definitely some upside there, and maybe he could become a legitimate NHL player. Again, I know that I'm just digging the bottom of the barrel here. I almost went with all the picks from this past year's draft, but it's just like 7th rounders. They picked guys in the 7th round, and I'm just like, do I really need to talk about this? But yeah, definitely one of the prospects in the pool who does have some upside, and he's also the newest one as well. Now here is a very interesting one. Ilya Nabokov, he is the son of the Nabokov who played with the Sharks. His name is for some reason escaping me right now, or his first name that is. He was born in Kazly, Russia, 6'1", 179 pounds, was drafted 38th overall by Colorado last year. He had pretty good numbers with Magnitogorsk in the KHL this past year, 23, 17, and 6, with a 2.22 and a .923. That is incredibly respectful numbers there for a very young goaltender, being 22 years old. He's actually an overager, so that's surprising too. He is a small but quick goaltender, smaller by goalie standards, but very quick goalie. Has really good numbers in the KHL, and I think that's really something that you should not scoff at whatsoever. He did get signed to a contract. Just looking at his draft pick rights here. It was traded for the Malcolm Spence pick. Interesting. But anyways, this is a guy who definitely has NHL upside. I think we could see him in the NHL as soon as next year. You look at his numbers in the KHL the last 2 seasons. You forget last year, too, he won the KHL championship, had a .930 in the regular season. In the regular season, had an even better percentage in the playoffs, a .942. This guy has put up phenomenal numbers in the KHL. He might be one of the better goalie prospects in the entire NHL, and I think there's a ton of potential there to become the starting goaltender for the Avalanche very, very soon. So Colorado definitely got themselves a gem there in Nabokov. It's just a matter of, is he ready for the NHL just yet? That's the question we're going to be asking ourselves here for a little bit. But Nabokov, very exciting upside there for sure. I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do. Now we're looking at some of the other prospects in the pool. Sean Behrens missed the entire year last year due to knee injury. So he missed a lot of time, but in his numbers with the University of Denver, put up some very solid stats. This guy still has a lot of upside, and he is a top 5 prospect in this pool. There is no doubt about that to me. Linus Funk was a 4th-round pick this past year, put up 28 points in 48 games played in the Swedish Junior League. That's respectable numbers there as a defenseman. So maybe there's some upside there with him. Taylor Makar, the brother of Cale Makar, was a 7th-round pick in 2021 and played games with Colorado this past year with the Eagles. He was with the University of Maine, put up 30 points in 38 games played. Not too bad. Matthew Steinberg might be the oldest prospect we ever talk about. Was drafted in 2019. He was born in 2000. Did play 8 games with Colorado this past year. Had 3 points in 5 games played with the Eagles before suffering an injury. And then Nolan Roed, who was a 7th-round pick this past year, put up 60 points in 61 games played with the Tri-City Storm in the USHL. Not bad numbers. If he's going to become an NHLer, he's a long way away from it, that's for sure. Looking at the final rankings here for the pool, especially with Callum Ritchie leaving, which we forget about, this pool's just not good. Gavin Brindley, number 1. Yeah, Guliev is number 2 for me. I think he has real upside to be like a top 4 defensive defenseman. Nabokov could be a starter in the future. Behrens, I'm worried with that injury, but still decent upside. Pristupov could be a 4th liner, honestly. Very good upside there. And then Delelse, you have Curran, you got Liam Funk, Makar's brother, and then Nolan Roed as well. It is not a strong prospect pool whatsoever. I am not rustling any feathers by saying that. But I'm assuming as the years go by and Colorado, Nathan McKinnon retires and Makar retires and all that, they'll be back in a couple of years when I have a beard that's so long. We'll be talking about how Colorado has Connor McDavid's son. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Avalanche's prospect pool. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe down below for more content. We got the Blue Jackets up next. Probably going to do that on Sunday. I got another video planned for tomorrow. But thank you all for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.